dark, where shadows move and questions remain unanswered. Tonight, we step beyond the veil. Welcome to Journey through the EGH Talk Show, where the paranormal meets the unexplained, and the truth is never far away. From ghostly encounters to UFO sightings to the mysteries that keep us awake at night. You're not just watching, you're part of the investigation. So dim the lights, open your mind, and prepare to question everything you thought you knew. This is your journey into the unknown.
Good evening, guys, and welcome to Journey Through the EGH Paranormal Talk Show, live and exclusive on wherever you are watching us. Someone's got their phone on because I can hear it echoing back. Someone's trying to get their phone on. Welcome, everybody. Hello. It's that time of the week where we get together and we put the world to rights. Let us know where you are watching. Let us know where you are. Welcome, everybody. And where would I be without my two wonderful co-hosts, Mr. Paranormal Paul and Mr. Psychic Si? Good evening, the pair of you.
Good evening.
How are we doing this week?
All right, not too bad.
Yeah, good.
All good. You're different on my screen this week. For the first time ever, it was like Paul got in before Simon. And now it's like Paul's next to me that way. Now Simon's down the bottom. It's
That's
weird.
good.
I'm not used to that. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome. The lovely Heidi is in the chat. Lee is in the chat as well. We've got Jane Cook in the chat as well. Please let us know where you are watching from. If you are watching on Facebook, if you are watching on TikTok, if you are watching on YouTube, let me know where you are watching. We hope we're live. Well, I know we're live on TikTok because we've got people watching already. If you are watching live on TikTok, hit that share button, hit that like button, get them likes up for me because then it hits the algorithm. If you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, please comment, whatever you need to do. Say hello. We've got Cheryl in the chat. Cheryl is a regular listener now.
Hi, Cheryl.
Yeah, Cheryl was in last week. We've got Jay in the chat as well, Jason, on YouTube, watching. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I ain't shut up, have I? It's the 18th. Did I say the date? It's the 18th. Have I forgot anything? I don't think I have. Do we need a Simon rant this week? Let me know in the chat if anyone wants a Simon rant this week. It feels like if we don't start off with a Simon rant, then we never get a good show. But let's see where it takes us. If you want a Simon rant, in the chat box. I'm going to start off first with Mr. Paranormal Paul. Mr. Paranormal Paul, how was your week?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. But I could rant if you want. I'm fed up with people not being able to drive at the moment.
That's a good rant.
I'll tell you what, it's unbelievable.
As in what way?
Just idiots, mate. Idiots. No one knows how to manoeuvre a roundabout nowadays for some reason. And I was going to work the other morning. I was behind a black Mercedes, and it was just doing 10 miles below the speed limit, all the way up to Willow Farm Rush. You know where Willow Farm is?
Yeah.
So I waited all that time till it was safe to overtake. It goes into two lanes, and as I went to overtake, went round a roundabout, put my foot down to get in front of him, and he come tearing past me, stopped at the roundabout, and I looked over. I undone my window because I wanted to say, "What are you doing, mate? If you want to do 10 miles below the speed limit, don't then." I said, "People like you that's going to cause an accident." But it was a young lad just sitting there. He wouldn't look over, and he was like that. And I tried to, because there was cars coming around the other roundabout. You know, I didn't want to fight or anything. I just wanted to say, "Mate, you're going to cause an accident doing that." So, of course, then when it was clear to go, I went off, and I've got to calm myself down because it then makes you It doesn't make you. It makes me drive like a bit of an idiot because I put my foot down just to get in front of him. So I thought, if he's done that, I know what he's going to do. He's going to get in front of me, and then he's going to slow right up again. So I did get in front of him, and then he had the cheek to flash me, and then turn left. And you're like, what was all that about? Oh,
It feels like rant of the week. We won't say Simon's rant anymore. We'll just say rant of the week.
that's a good idea.
Cool.
That's how it should be. Rant of the week, rather than rant of whatever you are looking at. Well, welcome, Simon. Have you got anything you want to rant about?
Oh, yeah, of course. Why would I not want to have a rant about something? And
I reckon I know where this one's going.
you probably do know where this one's going.
This one's going this week. So.
I think you do. It's a good old one. It's called Company's Bloody House. Company's House. If any of you are experiencing this, you'll know what I'm going through. In November, they decide that we've all got to identify ourselves. If we're partners in business, and me and Russ are business partners, so we've got to ID ourselves. So we started to do it, and then Russ went through it, did it all okay. I went through it, no, it's blocked me. So in January, I'm ringing up, yeah. Okay, yeah, don't worry, you've got till June, July, don't worry about it. Okay. So I said, but how am I going to get this ID? How do I get it? How do I get any options on this ID that I'm supposed to have? Oh, it'll reset in 3 months. We'll be reset for you. So I thought, okay, anyway, we get another little reminder to say if we don't put our IDs in, then we'll get a fine at the end of because they can't submit our accounts without it. Although it tells us we haven't got to worry until November 26th, we have. But that's a lie. So I thought, right, okay. Saturday, I'll take all the stuff in. So I had another go at it. I got to the same thing. Saturday, I'll take all the stuff in, let Russell have a go at it. We sat there. He come across everything that I come across. Every single thing that I come across, he come across. So we could get this app up, but you couldn't get any links on it. And if anybody in the club knows about it, you'll know what I'm talking about because I went on to find out something else after. So Russ said to me, on Monday, ring them. Well, I started ringing. 8 o'clock, I tried it again. 9 o'clock, yeah, you've got about 45-minute wait. No, it's not us. It's not Company's House. It's the IT department with login. So are they not part of you then? Yes, they are, but I can't answer what they've got to do. They've got to reset your login. Fantastic. Give them a ring. How can I set my right? What's your problem? This has gone for about 2 hours. Backwards, forward. What's your problem? And I finally got to one person who knew something. So I said, I can't get in. I've got no menu when I get into my app. Oh, that's a problem then. I actually know it's a problem. I've been going on for about a month. It's a problem. So what do I do? Oh no, you can't do it via the apps. So I said, okay, because she said your app's been frozen. Why? I said, oh, because I can't tell you that because I'm not allowed. Who can tell me that? Oh, nobody can tell you that. Right, okay. Can you send me then the link by email so I can go into the post office and get it for free? Oh no, that's got to come through the app. Oh, you are having a laugh here, aren't you? I said, look, this has been 3 hours. So what do you suggest I do now? Because your lot are going to be fining me come the end of July. Oh, no, we'll give you a grace period. I said, you can give me a grace period till Christmas. If I haven't got the things on my link, the links on my app, how can I do it? So, cut it to the end of the story, right? She tells me I've got to get on to a solicitor.
What?
A solicitor, accountant, or a company that I can do it. That company will do it for me. So I've gone, and how much that's going to cost? Oh, between 25, maybe 200 to 300 quid, depending on who you go with. And I went, no, but this is meant to be free. And if you send me the link for the post offices, it is free. No, we can't do that. So I suggest you go away. Well, I found an amazing company, and if anybody is experiencing what I experienced, it's a company called Icon, right? And they're absolutely brilliant. So simple. They just asked me for my details. They asked me to do 4 simple steps. I did the 4 simple steps, and within 3 days, I had been verified at my company's house. But the story ain't going to end there, because today I sat and did the biggest email going, and I want my money back of $24.99. And boy, oh boy, am I going to get it. Watch this space.
So the moral to the story is Simon has got verified for company's house. Am I right?
You're right.
Yeah.
Right. That was probably one of the longest rants that we've had.
Yeah.
You know,
And I like the way at the end he says, cut a long story short.
Well, rant's over. We are going to crack on with the show today. Thank you for everybody that is tuned and locked in. Hi, ladies. Don't be too late. Bed tonight, Simon.
I won't be, mate. Don't worry.
Mark in the chat. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Right, we're going to be talking about Alien Abduction tonight. Okay, we sort of did a show regarding David Paulides' interview. Yeah.
Christian, I can rest assured, if you can't get that app and that app doesn't work for you, it don't just take 5 minutes. I promise. It's taken 6 months, actually.
To be fair, I wouldn't have ever gone down the route of paying for it. I'd have let them fine me and I said, take me to court. You can't prove me that. You said it's free. Take me to court. Simple as. That's where I would have gone. I would never, in a million years, paid for it. I would never have done it. Would never have done it because I think it's wrong. It's almost like they're making you do what they want you to do.
Oh, yeah.
Sort it out. That's as simple as it gets. But that's another
show.
That's another show with corrupt.
Another rant. Don't start me on the second rant.
Yeah. So we are going to head along. We are going to go tonight. We are going to be talking about alien abduction, theories of alien abduction. We'll be talking about some probably well-known cases of what we know about, the ones that are in mainstream media, maybe some that are not. Look, you should have spoke to Kira. Christian.
I should have done. But...
Next time we know. So we're going to be, is what we do is we're going to sort of be talking about little things here, little things there, all to do with alien abduction, some well-known ones, some not well-known ones, and then we're going to take it from there. But following on from last week's show, we did a show on the missing 411. If you don't know, that is about David Paulides. That was an interview done on the Joe Rogan show. And it was very, very interesting of like these people just going missing, never to be seen, and people going missing virtually in front of people's faces. And there was a couple of videos or movies that David did. And I do believe Simon and Paul have sort of done a little bit of, watching these videos over the last couple of days. So I'm just going to sort of touch base, just to sort of fill in last week's show, to sort of have a follow-on conversation about sort of what you found out about it. So I'll start with you, Simon, because you sort of put in the group chat, it's even gone down more rabbit holes than you think you've ever been.
Yeah. Simply because I would have said that people can't just go missing, right? But this guy, years and years of research he's done, made about probably 8 films. And this guy, he doesn't say really that it's alien abduction. He says it could be, there could be other things. But the people that are going missing that I first started to watch were experienced hunters, absolutely experienced hunters. So, and some of them went out in the line with like 100 meters apart, walkie-talkie, and then the 5th one down the line, all of a sudden, just didn't come back. Couldn't find him, and then they search. And when I say search, it is really searched. They grid it, they search it, thermal, helicopters, dogs who can't even pick up a scent.
I think it was one of the biggest searches they'd done, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't realise how big the search was.
Oh God, it was big, and they grid lined it all, so they made sure that every part of that ground was covered. And then, in some cases, which really puts me down a rabbit hole, so they've searched all these places. 5 or 6 years later, the body turns up where they've searched. So
one of them was about 30 years later, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
They only found out it was him from the dental records, wasn't it? They found a skull and a foot or something like that, wasn't it? Or it's crazy.
And the more you look into it, there's more and more cases. So for the skeptics out there, Christian, I'd like your take on it, because these people are going missing in front of people, actually missing in front of people. So they'll be walking or hiking, the people will turn around and they've gone. And it's within 20 or 30 seconds. So then you're not waiting days to get a search team in, you're literally hours. And then a search team will come in, dogs, the lot, and away they go. But I would say, what I would say is, you usually get, when this happens, a period of bad weather a couple of days after. That's what you do notice in all of these. So like 2 days later, the weather will be snowy, or you'll get winds and high rain and things like that.
But a lot of them, the people that go missing, they basically spent their lives in these areas, hunting these areas.
Yeah.
30, 40 years plus. And then all of a sudden, just gone, nothing.
Lee, Lee put this in. I wonder if these cases are on the site that I sent you. No, these wouldn't be on the case. These would not be on the site, because they're not linking it at this moment in time to UFO or extraterrestrial cases just at this moment. So they wouldn't be on that site. Okay.
I think there is one where he does see a rectangular craft. That's the one that is taken away. I think he comes back, and they put him back because he's had the snip. I think that's the one, if I'm not mistaken. I've watched so many of these films, you just go off in different. It just takes me in different areas.
Yeah, it's hard to remember what story goes with what, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, he did see the craft there. But there was also another 2 gentlemen that saw that craft.
Yes.
And I can't remember, they were part of something, but quite credible witnesses, and basically scared the life out of them. They hadn't ever gone back. They used to be like their monthly meet-up, didn't it, wherever it was they saw it, and they haven't been back since, because it frightened the hell out of them.
See, I find this comment quite interesting, to be fair. Look at the American cave system maps, then look at the map PDF of American missing people cases. Both maps show exactly the same area.
That's what I said last week, wasn't it, with the underground tunnels?
Yeah. So
I agree with that. But then I don't agree with the 10 years later, 30 years later, it's the body coming where they looked. They find the body where they looked. So,
but does that happen in all cases, or
a lot of them? Some of them are still missing, but a lot of them, yes.
And some of them are only like a week or 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
After one of them was before they'd even left the site. They'd searched the whole area.
Yes.
And then someone said, look, they had dogs there, they had groups of people looking at exactly the same spot as where all of a sudden the body's there.
Dog will pick up the scent. Definitely.
But then that leads me down this sort of, boom, boom, the rabbit hole of the cave system, the abduction by aliens. nothing. You say we've got dogs are very intelligent with sense of smell and things like that. So whatever is happening, has to be pretty quick about where it disappears and things like that. Um, so the cave system would tick a lot of boxes for me. We talk about
Dog's not sent where you got in and out of this cave system.
Yeah.
not necessarily, because it's going to be a vast amount of area, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? They could pick up a slight scent, and then disappear. Just say if that cave system is directly below them and bang, straight in. Say if it's a quick abduction of whatever it is. Let's talk about.
So
going
you
along-
reckon it's going to be abduction?
in my head, it can't be anything else.
Hmm.
It can't be physically in my head abduction. It has to be something quick. Now,
Oh yeah.
abduction is quick. We go along. Obviously, we spoke about the lines of Bigfoot with their portals and how they move quickly. Look at the cases of Bigfoot over time. People see them, then people don't. Now, if we're talking about that sort of motion of a human, then what's to say they don't come across Bigfoot? Bigfoot pick them up, take them through these portals, and everything is gone very, very quickly. It has to be something that is it can't be anything natural if no dog is picking up the scent. In my head, if we're saying dogs can't pick it up,
Yes, they're not.
so that has to be, in my head, a massive, quick bang, gone out. Hold on.
But one of them fired the 3 warning shots. So when you go hunting, if something happens, if you get injured or trapped or you're in distress or you need help, it's like the rule of thumb out there. You fire 3 shots in the air, so people in the surrounding area knows there's someone needs help, and they all gather up and they venture out there. And they did with this fella who'd spent his life in these woods, and never seen again.
And then was that the one pool where his boots were found?
It's the one where him and his wife used to just camp out by the lake.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So just loosely as well, also seen on social media this week about Donald Trump and the Chinese president meeting with aliens. They don't have names, but the long blonde hair, red jackets. They also reckon it's a build up to aliens.
Which could coincide with the prediction of the Scottish football game and the alien invasion.
If you look at
it does all sort of tally up, doesn't it? All these things are coming out with the disclosure and everything. All the while, it's predicted that this week or next week there's going to be alien sightings.
But if you look at the so-called aliens that Donald Trump is looking at and talking to, it could be AI generated. I think
they put it in that machine that detects whether it's been manipulated or AI generated and everything like that, and the AI record or whatever generator it is says it's real. Pretty much 100% real.
Now, if you look at the picture, that to me is pretty much what Simon described at Rendlesham Forest. That seems to be the extraterrestrial of choice that could be living on this planet amongst us. We look at the cave system. What species is linked to the cave system? We have reptilians linked to the cave system. They're quite a nasty race. So we have to take into all these occasions. Let's just read some comments out, okay? Christian, don't be surprised, ladies, but I'm thinking there could be a group of people that may live in the cave system, and they're talking people like the lost folk. Yeah, that doesn't unfamiliarize. The only thing, once again, is how are they stopping the scent? How are they? They've got to.
There is no caves in these areas that these are going to. Otherwise, that would have been the first place they'd check.
Yeah,
especially with the bad weather coming in. Not known caves. I mean, the caves you're talking about, I can't remember what what park it is, because I remember seeing the map where people went missing where they were last seen, and there's literally, if they know these cave systems are there, that has been the first place they look. But some of these places, as far as I'm aware, there is no cave system. They're like in the middle of nowhere. And they're usually elk hunters, and you have to really venture out.
I just find, in my head, I just find it very, very, very stuck. It's got to be quick.
Mm.
Now, if we have got this, these people that may be living under the caves and things like that, then they've got to have an entrance that is like a trapdoor, simple. Pull the lever, it drops, and that's it. Springs back up again. They're not. In my head, I do. In my head, my theory.
That's doable, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm also sent like in my head. I want to go that. I probably feel the dogs will scent up until the place they go missing, and then they lose the track or to a point and it just disappears. It just feels like there is something obviously that we're not quite, even though they're saying the dogs are not finding them because of scent, it doesn't necessarily mean the dog is not sensing a scent. It may just take you up to a point where the scent ends. That makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Hold on, we've got quite a few comments coming in, so I'm gonna just Mark. I have a theory abduction are in. What's that? Sorry, a theory in between.
In between world.
Yeah.
Well, not abduction. I have had a case where my friend and I had an experience in an in-between world in Dundee. Bigfoot, a great doc in Flash of Beauty. Sure, that's probably a book or something like that. Dogs are trained on normal people scent. If we are talking cave-dwelling people, they may have been born for generations in the caves, so dogs wouldn't detect them as everyday people smell.
Christian,
But the people going missing it'd smell the people going missing that they're taking, if that was the case.
just a quick question for Christian. Do you think we've got these caves in Britain then? Right, done. Read the other comments.
We've got sounds like Morlocks from the Time Machine. Lee has commented, not an expert in any of this, but what actually happens after abduction? Are they killed? Are they placed elsewhere? Are they put in test tubes?
Well, some are killed because they come back dead. Some have been come back alive and have full memory of it. But the fella that said he was abducted with the elk he was hunting when he was there, and that's the one that said that he literally telepathically spoke to each other.
Yes, that's it. That was the rectangle, wasn't it?
I don't remember that one, if it was that one or not. It was a few with the rectangle spaceship. It might have been. I think it was actually, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Because he drew a picture of the spaceship and he drew a picture of the physical. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And he said it wasn't a spaceship. It was more like some sort of portal. It was clear. It was clear, wasn't it?
Oh, that yes. No, yes. Sorry, it was a clear cube.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even more probably.
So, but then that clear cube has been seen before, hasn't it?
Mm.
Yes, so our caves exist wherever land exists. We just have.
Do you think there's a race under the UK?
Look at all the hidden bunkers in the UK, which go for miles below ground.
Yeah, I agree with that. But do you think there's a race living under the UK, Dad? Because the question I'm asking is because one of the rabbit holes it led me to this was, well, hold on. If these are all in America, have we ever had any in the UK? And I thought, oh no, there won't be many. In fact, there's quite a lot.
Yeah, I'd say there is.
There is quite a lot, and very similar. They go out. They've trained. One was in the Yorkshire Dales. Went out. They found his car with his phone on the bonnet. He was a keen hiker. 2 days later, the weather worsened. No clothes were found. Dogs found no trace. 5 months later, his body was found in an area they searched quite thoroughly. No injuries. So there was they did an autopsy, and apparently it was put down to hypothermia, which they're saying is absolute crap, because it wouldn't be hypothermia, because he was probably such a trained person to go out there.
Yeah, well, this is the sort of get out clause with a lot of them, isn't it? Saying it's hypothermia. But just going back to that other fella that said he got abducted, when he come back, they tested him and everything, and he apparently had scarred lungs where he had TB as a child or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
But when he come back after being abducted, all the scarring had gone, as
Yeah.
if they'd repaired him. And he had something, he had a different ailment as well, but which was no longer there once he'd come back. That's very bizarre.
So these people are coming. Some people are coming back healed, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well,
He did.
yeah.
Is it plausible we can survive without sunlight so long, as it is warm? After a few generations, we would gradually evolve for the environment. There are hundreds of Amazon forest tribes that have managed to stay hidden from all of us to date. It doesn't.
Yeah, that's quite feasible.
Plausible.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think so. But there was 2 things that got me thinking on because a lot of them was like in the mountains. You got a lot of the Rockies. You got the creeks going down the bottom. Now, a lot of people saying you have to have really good footwear when travelling along there, because some of these rocks where the boulders fall down,
Yes.
they're like razors.
Yes, it.
But then I think, well, if they're saying that there's some, I'm not saying all of them, I'm not putting everyone in the same thing, but there was a couple on there that were down by the creek and things like that, never seen again. And when you look at the pictures of these places, there's hundreds of boulders just lining the riverbanks. And you think, well, what if one of these boulders come down as he was down there and landed on top of him? Because some of these boulders are the size of a car on a long wheelbase transit. You ain't never going to see him again if he's square in the middle of that boulder.
No, that's true.
You know, I mean, would you notice that there was a new boulder there for the amount there are? I don't know. How often you go there? It must change every year, because from the look of it, there's a new one or new couple falling down every couple of weeks. And the other theory I had was at the end of that Missing 411 documentary. I'm really glad I watched them, by the way, because you get a lot more in depth.
Yeah, you do.
There was
Anybody of interest, it's worth watching. They're on YouTube. Just watch them. Yeah.
But there was a lady at the end of the first one, and she was hunting in the woods. She was a bow hunter, and she'd been hunting there for years. And she saw, the only way you can describe it is like the film Predator. This thing in the trees. And said at first she thought, you know, sometimes you get something in your eye and it goes a bit blurry where you're looking. So you give your eye a rub and give it all that and looking back. And that's what she said. It was like a figure of cling film, like the Predator, you know, where the light bends round him. And she said, at first I thought there was something, didn't realise it was alive until it reached for the tree next to it and then moved across. To literally see like the arm come out, grab the tree and move across. Obviously I haven't taken it at face value that she's telling the truth. She seemed like she was telling the truth. You couldn't say for definite unless you was there and saw it yourself. But there have been quite a few people that have witnessed a similar sort of thing. Now, if that's the way you're going, you know what I'm like, Russ. I always believe films are telling us a story somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Now, these people are always in heavily wooded areas. If it is like the Predator, it's going to yank that person up into the trees.
Yeah.
And what do people always see? They hear snapping branches. They hear this. They hear. Well, that's a heavy, big beast of a person up there, moving through the trees. And they're always so high, these snapping of the branches and the trees. People saying it's Bigfoot. What if it's one of these things? And you ain't going to get, the dog ain't going to go up in a tree if he's moving about up in the trees. If that's the way it's getting about.
Yeah, but wouldn't we see evidence of that? Wouldn't you know?
Who's going up into the tree, Russ?
Yeah,
Some
but-
of these trees are
But we're
massive.
yeah, but we're still talking about obviously clothing, guns. We're talking.
They're usually found later.
Yeah.
Usually found a lot later, or
Not at all.
not at all. Yeah.
But like you say, there's nothing. What's to say you don't? You could. I'm just speculating. What if it? Could snap your neck, take you and everything you've got on you with you as trophies.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I can see.
You know what I mean? And that's where my head went. I'm like, well, if we're going down we're going abductions, we're going Bigfoot, we're going portals. If you're willing to believe every one of them, there's nothing to say that it ain't this thing.
But the thing is, also, I can't remember if it was the one, but he shot the elk, and the elk didn't go down. Do you remember? The hunter shot the elk.
The bullet stopped before it hit the elk.
I've definitely got it. And they examined the bullet. It hit
Yeah.
something, and they can't explain what it hit. So it's a false bullet this thing put up. And he said, I think he was up there, and wherever he was taken. The elk with him.
Yeah, and he said to them, "That's my elk."
Yeah.
Because it was still in the same. It was as if it was frozen. It was still in the same position it was when he took the shot.
Yeah, that's my elk.
And even when he come back, they found him. He was in a car. He wasn't driving. He was just sat in the car, sort of a bit hysterical. He just appeared in the car. And the first thing he said to I think it was his wife, wasn't it? Or I think it was his wife. The first words that come out of his mouth is, "They've took my elk. They've took my elk." I mean, it's bizarre, isn't it?
I think we absolutely. This show is absolutely about us with
Take an open mind. You've got to explore every avenue, haven't you? When there's nothing that
I'm never doing
anyone
a walk in a forest again.
Yeah. But the one I watched started to watch today, I don't think I've got to the end of it, is now that the children are going missing. This was all about children. And okay, you could write some of them off to being perhaps, if I'm going down the sceptical route, the parents have done it. But I don't think so. But 1 minute they're there, next minute they're gone.
Yeah, but I think but this is what I'm saying. This 1 minute there and 1 minute gone. Okay.
But you could fall, couldn't you?
Yes, but you would.
Me and you could be walking the forest, right? I'm 100 yards behind you.
Yeah, but then I know where you are. If you've fallen, I say you've fallen down there. You don't just disappear when you fall. Something's got to hit the bottom at some point. So if I say, look, this is where I was, that's where you've fallen, someone is going to find something at the bottom or wherever you've landed. And
that's what we're saying.
But this is never the case.
No,
this is never the case. Nothing is found. We're not hearing. We're not necessarily hearing that the artifacts are left. We find them later on. We find them here. We have no scent from animals. I still can't get my head around that this is quick. Whatever is happening is like what Paul said. It's either being lifted, but it's either being going through that portal. It's either being going in underground caves. But it is stopping that connection with Earth as quickly as possible. Now, the only thing that we can possibly go based on that is the animal scent. That's the only thing we're basing this on in my head at the moment. Is what is the kick up for me is that, yes, but if animals can't pick it up, I get it. We're in a forest. There's going to be thousands of scents that the animals are going to pick up. I think it's got to be a right fine line for that dog to pick up that scent and find exactly where it went. It's got to be.
Yeah, but these dogs are trying to do it, Ross.
Yeah, but what point? How long does scent last? You know, I think we have to take into.
Some of them have been there within hours.
Yeah, but how
Hours.
long does
Well, an hour.
how long does scent last? That's a question that I know we haven't got that answer.
Okay.
But let's. I just want to get to some questions. All right.
What's your question?
Yeah. In all the pictures I've seen of what aliens are meant to look like, even the red coats, they are all look healthy, fit, and ready. Never seen a chunky alien. Why?
They haven't got the thumbs.
That one I do not know. Perhaps I just don't.
I like to see that one.
Yeah, where do you think this fat jab's come from?
Can make. I'm not putting them comments on the thing, Christian. I'll get taken off there. Question: if we assume aliens have been around for X amount of time, let's assume at least hundreds of years. Why didn't they just coexist with us? Why hide? Why abduct? Why the secrets?
Yeah, exactly.
But who is saying they don't coexist with us? That'd be my question. That's my
Yeah, because there's a lot of evidence out there that just says that they are all living among us.
yeah, you know.
Apparently, a human scent trail can last anywhere from a few hours to several days.
Right, so that's plausible. So we've now got that in the case of that disappears. Okay, let's take the minimum there, 2 hours. 2 hours. So say if the dogs get there within an hour, that probably gives the dog an hour to find a scent from, if that's minimum case scenario. Now, going by the statistics, that doesn't happen often, if any. So that has to distance itself pretty quickly from this realm, this Earth, this planet, wherever you're looking. If it's going underground, it's quick. It is absolutely bang, gone, sis, oof. And that is the most incredible thing about this. There is, okay, we're not saying that every single missing 411 case, you know, we look at the skier, you know, we found facts about that skier last week when you did a little bit more digging, with phones in his pocket, with money in his thing. You know, it becomes more plausible. But
I think the abductions where they live and come back sometimes are a bit.
So what makes abduction?
I don't know.
So some abductible material. What also makes some abductible material? I don't know what that means. Sorry, Lee, I'm lost on that one.
What you mean, an alien abducting a person? What would make that person be wanted by the aliens?
What does that? So, aliens in Gary Wood's case seemed sick. They even asked for
sanctuary.
We'll have to have a look at that case.
Gary Woods?
Gents, hold on. Gents, has anyone ever experienced Jenny Randall's odd factor? I've heard the name Jenny Randall.
Oz factor. I haven't experienced it. No, I have read up on it. Isn't that where it's as if you're walking into like the atmosphere or something around you's changed and it's like everything's a bit blurry. We've spoke about it before, Russ. The Oz factor.
So for what? Sorry, you walk through something, everything goes blurry.
It's if you're. I suppose it could be. Oh, how do you describe it? How can I describe it? Did you ever see the film Jumper, where they can just teleport from place to place? Had Anakin Skywalker in it, didn't he? He played the main character. So after they jumped, the area that they left, if you went near it, it's like the whole atmosphere around it changes. it's like it leaves a mark. That's the way the Oz factor's been described, if I remember rightly.
It describes the eerie dreamlike sensation of suddenly being isolated from the real world, during a paranormal or UFO encounter.
Yeah, but I'm sure does it not mention something about it's like you can feel the energy in the air, or you can see it's not a mist. I don't know how to describe it now, mate. I can see it in my head, but I don't know how to put it into words.
Yeah, well, it says like Mark says like reality melts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In not so many words, yeah, but
Yeah, I say I know I've heard of Jenny Randall's. I've never heard of the Oz Factor, but I'm assuming Oz Factor is related to the Wizard of Oz, like
yeah, it's a different world because it's almost as if when like a mirage, when you're looking at the heat of the surface, it's a hot day, you get that sort of wiggly lines coming up from the heat. People have said that they've experienced that like everywhere around them in the area where this thing has happened. Is as if reality is, like you says, like melting because it's giving off like a wavy line. That's the best way I can describe it, I suppose.
So I'm assuming that is sort of what is that putting that into the cases. They may experience that before these events may happen. Obviously, the likes of the Pascagoula case and Travis Walton. I don't quite know if that fits within their sort of the remit of what that goes on, but I think that is, the Oz factor.
I'll have a look at it.
I can see that happening in all. Do you know what I mean? I can definitely see that. I'll definitely sort of see that all over the cases that it happens. Do you know what I mean? I can see that.
I don't know if I don't remember anyone, but then no one's ever in them cases said that that's happened. I think even the people that were abducted.
Yeah, I say I've never heard of the Oz factor, but that does sound like something that would happen during an abduction in my head.
100%. And you've got something's got to be along them lines, isn't it?
Yeah, I that sounds like the perfect sort of scenario. So let's generalize the word abduction here. Let's sort of talk about alien abduction in general here. We've got different cases from around the world. We've got different cases all over the world that all sort of follow the same likelihood pattern. There's a couple of factors that differ here and there. We all have the cases of lost time is a big key factor of that. We have people, I think Travis Walton was returned after a few days, or Pascagoula, one of them was returned after a few days. All following that same sort of stereotypical, and I say that loosely, stereotypical abduction, which sometimes sort of, to me, feels a little bit, what's the word? Repetitive. Not to say that, look, I've spoken to people on this show that have been abducted, and things like that. But I think I don't quite know how I feel about abduction within people at this moment in time. I feel that people do not generally get abducted in the physical sense, like our skin, like our bones and everything like that. In my head, the cases of abduction is sort of more of a soul or energy released from our body and replaced at some point.
But that's saying all abductions happen by one particular species, and it's all the same sort of way. we're assuming it's just one species of alien or whatever it is that is doing all these abductions. You get a group of people that say the same sort of thing, and then you get another group of people that say something completely different. So what if they're two different species that are doing?
Yeah, but if you look at the generalization of abduction, you know, is
Yeah,
all
but
pretty
these
much the
people,
same.
you're talking about abduction where people are coming back alive because they
Yeah.
can tell the story. What about if they have been abducted but are dead? Why are they getting killed?
Or the ones that are never seen again.
Yeah. Some of these are
Like
not seen.
this fella that could come back, he reckoned because he had a vasectomy.
Yeah.
He made it quite clear that if he didn't have a vasectomy, he'd still be there now.
Yeah.
So then that's that question to you, Simon, is in my head. My opinion on that would be, if they're kept, they're wanted. They're perfectly fine to be kept for what they're needed. If they come back, then they're not wanted, like some of these people. But if they come back dead, they just haven't come back through the process that is needed to get back.
Or they've been used for what they need.
Yeah, it
So
almost
they've
feels
taken what
like
they need.
yeah, but then I would, I don't necessarily feel that the ones that come back dead are killed by the extraterrestrial beings. I feel that they, the process of returning them through whatever method the
Yeah,
body couldn't take, because they get up there, like obviously, let's take that gentleman with the vasectomy. Okay, he's made it back to Earth via however they make this possible. Okay, time travel, you know, Star Trek, beam me up, Scotty. However they make that happen, there has to be something to do with your genetics that are really absolutely beguddled, absolutely twisted every sense. So if you're a healthy human being, then I reckon you've got more chance of making it back. But if you're, say, if you've gone up there and you've been worked on, whatever way that is, and come back down and your body can't take it, it might just be simple as a heart attack, where your body's
A
got
lot, a lot of people who are taken are quite elderly. The hunters are quite elderly.
Yeah, they are. But then don't they reckon as well that when they come back, the way the bodies are found is as if they've been dropped.
Yeah.
And wasn't there one person that said when he come back, he was rolling down a hill? Like he'd been dropped and he was just rolling and rolling, like he'd just fallen from the sky on a hill and he was just.
Yeah.
Some of these people, like you say, could have even died on the impact of getting dropped wherever.
I think the one that you were speaking about the other week, Simon, Todd Malden, of
we got drops on the
that to me is like one of your perfect stereotypical just dropped out the sky method. Do you know what I mean? Or someone dropped him out of a plane because they've killed him. Whatever, you know what I mean?
It could be,
however you look at it, however you see that. But I'm generally not 100% sold on alien abduction, as in the stereotypical cases that we see and are hearing of. I'm the one that sort of not changed my mind on it, because it didn't change my mind, but it made me question abduction, because it was like, well, okay, I can see that working. I just can't remember if it was Ronnie or Philip Kinsella that me and Joe interviewed a couple of years ago on this show. And obviously Philip, it must have been Philip, because we've got his book here, haven't we? We went and saw a talk with him, Simon. And he describes how he felt his body lift from the bed. He felt his body go through the walls, and as he looked back, he could still see his body on the ground or on the bed where he was going. So that fitted within my sense of how that worked. How You know, that I think that is yeah, that's
Was
how
that
I think it works.
it's more like astro travel though, isn't
But
it?
Yeah.
they were they were quite young, weren't they? They weren't adults.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they were quite young. I do
Yeah.
believe they were quite young.
Yeah, I can't remember how old they were, but I don't think they were very young.
But then, do you not think that that could have been? I mean, I don't remember it, but
A
could it
nice
not have
way
been
to take them, perhaps.
astro traveling without realising it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Kinsella twins abduction is super interesting. They're the nicest people in the community. Very much so. Very much so. They've got some fantastic stories, and they take a bit of criticism as well, which is a bit unfair. But yeah, I quite
So
like.
this is the thing, Russ. This is why it's almost like the whole conversation is a psyop, isn't it? The whole subject, sorry, is a psyop.
Yeah.
Because the second anyone, this is why a lot of people won't come forward.
And that's what actually this David Belida says. It's
Yeah.
people are
You
scared
know,
to come
'cause
forward.
you're criticised. You're
Because you're a dude.
I mean, even us trying to find an explanation for it, you know, I'm saying it could be a predator, like the film Predator. You know, we've got cave systems, but as we're saying it, we're sort of having a little chuckle to ourselves anyway, because it sounds so ridiculous and out there. But
I don't. To be fair, nothing ever sounds ridiculous. To my, we've been speaking about this. You know, for example, we're on to the 184th show of Journey Through the Unexplained. Okay,
Yeah.
that doesn't include how many shows we did with the EGH. So we're probably over 200 shows talking about this over the last 5 years. There's things that we cannot explain.
No.
You know, as much as I'm not with the whole abduction thing, and all intents and purposes, myself, Simon, Henry, Lauren, Jay, Maz, Sandra, Tina have all
Yeah.
been a part of a so-called something to do with extraterrestrials losing time. Where that comes because we have two parties that didn't see us and we saw them, and it was the other way around. Now, we're not sitting here and, you know, the more me and Simon have spoke about this on the show, it leads us to, well, we don't know who got abducted at this point because it doesn't make any sense. At the end of the day, they feel like they lost time. I didn't feel like I lost time.
Yeah.
I physically saw them. They didn't physically see me. So we've got two stories that were just, you know.
And the funny thing is, Henry, being a sort of non-believer in the UFO that he was, actually saw a craft. And he was the only one that saw the craft.
You know, so I'm not sitting there and saying abduction is not real. That's not what I'm saying. Because we've been a part of something, and I'm talking about probably a matter of minutes rather than hours, minutes. You know, we've told the story enough times on the show, so I won't keep repeating the story. But it was just a very bizarre, all in all, 20 minutes with probably 3 or 4 minutes of time lost by either my car or Simon's car. Who we can't put who lost the time. That's as simple as it gets. You know, that's as simple as physically it gets. The more the story is told, it's like we saw Simon, but they didn't see us. Where was I? That's the bizarre thing about it, because I would sit here with my hands on my heart and say, I have never been abducted. Never have I ever been abducted or seen anything like that. But when Simon tells that story and when we talk about that story, it's like, well, if they can't see my car, but I can see them, and my car, J Maz, can all see Tina's car, but they're not physically seeing me. And we're talking probably a distance of no more than 100 yards, less than that, 50 yards away.
I think I even said to Tina and Henry, it's nice of them to wait for us, isn't it? Because we ain't got a clue where we are.
That's what I'm saying. But at that moment in time, now, yeah.
To me, that doesn't sound abduction-y. That sounds more sort of, like you say, like a time slip or...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't...
But
yeah.
the thing is, Paul, it's like, looking back, if you had hindsight, let's be fair, if you had hindsight, you know, obviously you'd have to look at the clocks, taking into account of what was on my dashboard, anything like that. You know, I didn't know anything like that because I was laughing and joking.
It's the last thing you think is going to happen, isn't it?
And I was just crawling down the hill. I just, you know, when you just put it into gear and let the car drive itself, it goes, what, 2 miles an hour, if that. So it was just going down a hill, and I say, oh, come on. Then we see them pull out. They're right behind us, 50 yards behind us. And it will always stay in my mind. And I knew it was Tina because she had her right headlight out. And that was the only thing that I knew that who was following me all the way up and all the way back.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's bizarre. But that's what I'm saying. I couldn't sit there and say to you I felt any different. The only thing I would say is when I crossed the traffic lights and I bumped up the curb, and we're talking now less than, well, you know, a set of traffic lights. Tina's car's at the traffic lights. I've gone across the road. There was a pub on my my left-hand side. I've bumped up the curb and they've turned left. And I'm like, what the hell are they turning left for? You know, we're less than what? What's the width of a road? Probably 30 foot, 40
Yeah,
foot.
but we probably still couldn't see you. This is what we're saying.
That's what I'm saying. This is what we could see you. That was the bizarre thing about it. But yeah, I'm aware of similar stories in Rendlesham.
Yeah,
we've had
crazy place, Mark. Crazy place.
But once again, when we had the things go wrong in the car in that crazy place at that moment in time, the things that we didn't do was check the time, check what was going on. You know, it could have been, we could have lost an hour of time for all we know, but you wouldn't know.
It seemed like hours to me because I had a bloody frigging bad knee. I had to walk around the wrong way of the forest.
Yeah, but the coming out bit, wasn't it? When it all happened on the way out.
Yeah.
Lee's got a question for us as well. I wonder if any of the ones that come back dead had something medically wrong with them and had to have an option to bail out of life peacefully, or their memory wiped to continue until such time.
Yeah, good point. Interesting.
Don't know, but perhaps some of these that are missing will come back alive. Who knows? Who knows what else could happen?
How do we know they're not back? That's another question. How do we know they're not back? Do you know what I mean? For example, if I went abducted now, okay, tomorrow I go missing, get abducted by aliens, and then I get returned to Australia with my memory wiped, who's ever going to find me unless someone comes to Australia and accidentally bumps into me and says, I know you from somewhere. You look like that long-lost fat geezer that went missing. Do you know what I mean? We never know. Some of these people could be returned, but if they've had their memory wiped or anything like that...
Yeah, but families would still be looking for you, wouldn't we? We'd still be looking for you and we still put a trace on you. And, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but would it get to as far as Australia? Would it get to far as Brazil? Would it get to the far as Greenland? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll just tell you one more story of England, if you want, before we go. If you would like it.
Yeah, go for it.
This is Wales. Now, I've always said there was a cave system there. And I think that Geordie went. But Wales, and I'm talking about 4th of August 2012. The guy's called Shane. I won't get the surnames. He's probably still raw with people. He might just be out there. He was a psychiatrist, very, very intelligent, just got a new job, had everything to live for. But he was an outdoor junkie, he was an enthusiast. He was such an experienced hiker. And on the 4th of August, he went out, parked his car, and he let everyone know where he was when he parked his car, carried his equipment, essential, went on his trek, vanished without trace. No, nothing at all. Never came back. Full-scale intensive search. They found the parked car with plans of his hike, and they sent search dogs out. The next day, nothing found. Right. So that was in 2012. Bear that in mind, because 12 years later, a bloke called David, again, he was a transport manager. He led and organised hikes, right? Okay, across this place where he was going. So on the 8th of January, he went out, planned, obviously for warm weather, took everything for warmth because of being January. Dressed in bright clothing. Disappeared. He conquered the mountain. Sent a message to say, conquered the mountain, I'm coming down. Once again, no trace. 5 months later, in May 2024, I think somebody was flying over and they found this bright jacket. They found the bright jacket and found his body. Right. But also, as they found that body, they saw another jacket. And they found the body of the guy that disappeared in 2012. Now that, to me, is very crazy. And as he got to the top of the mountain, his Garmin equipment stopped. There was no trace of him coming down. Or not mountain, but whatever peak he was on. There's peaks there. How close is that?
Well, it's very that there's I say that obviously there's really nothing you can really say about it. It's interesting. Can I sit here and give you what I think? We're talking about we're either talking about a very very clever serial killer, which doesn't sound right, does it?
Well, the thing I would say for that, you'd have found these bodies because they actually searched where these bodies was found both times.
That's different. I was going to say, to me, it sounds like I'd like to know, was the first body that went missing, did it have that sort of amount of decay on it compared to the second body? But like you say, if they'd actually searched there and not found them.
But the pathologist again said there was no suspicious circumstances that killed him.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Serial killing.
They didn't even find cause of death.
Sorry?
They didn't find cause of death.
No.
And that's weird.
No.
There's, obviously, I think, my head went the same direction as Paul's there. For the tense of the conversation, we would need to know the decay of that first body. The thing that would baffle me the most if they're both decayed at the same time. Do you know what I mean? If the one from 12 years ago looked like the one from whatever it was days ago, or vice versa, then you've got something that's really crazy going on there.
Well, I only found it about today, so I will have a dig into it next week.
I know if you die on Everest, they tend to leave you up there, don't they, and things like that. And they could never tell when bodies actually how long they've been up there because they're frozen.
Yeah, that's a point.
Yeah,
that's a good, not necessarily theory, but an explanation of why you wouldn't find a body if it was snowing.
But was it a snow-capped peak,
Yeah.
or was it just?
Not in. I doubt if it would be in.
No, I don't think so. I think there's only.
Does it give you the name of the snow-capped peak?
I'll find out for you in the week.
Yeah.
I only got this about 2:30 today, and I just thought, because I was looking at this one where the kids have been disappeared. I thought, I wonder if we would look into things like this as David Polides watching, but I can't find anybody that actually looks into that. But I just found 3 different cases. There's probably loads more, but
you know, we haven't necessarily got the, probably the, this Yosemite National Park is as probably big as the UK.
yeah, no,
So
I agree. Yeah, I do agree.
you know,
We have a hell of a lot of missing people. Whether, I'm not saying everyone's going to be an abduction case or whatever, but
I think
it's a different ball game, isn't it? America to the UK. Yeah.
I would be saying for the UK, I think they would have to be abductions and things like that within the UK. I think have to be more clever and more.
Yeah, but are we?
No, because I think within the States, obviously, you got your Yosemite National Park, which is this.
Yeah.
They don't. You could hide. You could hide. Is like what Christian said and Mark said. You could hide loads of expansive. People in there. We've got the Amazon, and where you just not seen. We've got nowhere that's probably not been discovered apart from underground in the UK. When we, our forests have, been looked at, walked around, and things like that. It's probably nothing can really hide. The Highlands, potentially, of Scotland may have to
up there,
hide something.
Beacons, I expect you could, in places like that in Wales. Downs, national parks in Downs, the lakes. We have got quite.
Yeah, I'm not saying we haven't, but you think of that the overall sense of it all.
But then again, are we different to Americans? Would we come out with it? As Paul, as we said earlier, Paul, would we admit to being?
No.
Think of being abducted. We wouldn't, because we'll think, gaga.
No, especially when you think how old this country is as well. And if you come out with something like that, you'd be bleeding burnt at the stake.
That is the thing. That is more than anything, to be fair.
Do you think this is why you're always, through history, you're taught to fear the unknown?
Yeah.
To the point where you're prosecuted for if you come out with anything like that.
I think it is because if you were to go to school and tell all these sort of stories, or you're going to just get labelled as a fruit bat, aren't you? Even to this day, imagine what social media would make of it. If I went out and said I've been abducted by aliens, they brought me back and I've seen this, that, and that. I might get scared, but
it would be. It would be frowned upon, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be.
You would be probably.
It's horrible. It is horrible.
You'd be annihilated.
I'm just looking to see like UK.
I bet there's a few more than I found.
To be fair, it's more UFO reports. UK abduct. We'll do a little bit more of it. Because it's a real interesting case, to be fair, and things like that. Gents, what are your thoughts on the missing dead scientists? We did a show on this a few weeks ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
Which is very, very interesting. I think
one of them missing scientists, Mark, was one of these people we're talking about. She was on a hike with a friend. The friend took her up. They were walking. He was probably 100 yards in front, 100 feet in front. I wouldn't even say that. He turned to talk to her again, gone. Totally gone. But that could be abducted by the feds or whatever. You know,
I think there's a more. I think, to be fair, that the scientist cases and the missing scientists, I think there's a bit of everything involved in that. I don't think it's one clear cut. I don't think it's just UFOs. I don't just think it's aliens. I think it's every single credible. I think we could take it as far as sort of, the FBI,
yeah.
the SAS, you name it. Everything is involved in them cases, because what they were talking about, I think it was the female, wasn't it? I don't know her name. I do. One of the female scientists.
Gaza,
was it the one that was with like propulsion and things like that? And
I don't really know.
It was quite interesting, to be fair. So I think that some of these are popped off for some reasons too close. That's how it makes me feel. Not all of them. I'm not going to say all of them because that'd be silly to say. But some of,
Monica Razor, so no.
And what did she do?
She was a materials engineer and director of NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab.
Yeah.
Disappeared June 2025 while hiking. Still missing. That's her.
But then again, let's throw the curveball in there of, once again, that goes down Alien Abduction route, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That fits in this conversation.
It's quite similar.
Very much in this remit of what we're talking about. And maybe we all, what's the word I'm going to try and put it, we all favor that these extraterrestrials are far more superior than what we are, just based on what we see and what we anecdotally hear.
What we're led to believe.
Yeah. So what's to say this jet propulsion engineer is not needed by an extraterrestrial being? They say, the dark side of the moon, with all these bases on potential Mars and all these other planets.
Yeah.
What's to say that we haven't got life that we know on these planets that are taking these scientists that are needed up there?
100%.
We can't rule out that what we're told they're just gone missing. Yeah, they have just gone missing, but for what reason, we'll never know. That's fact. We'll never ever work that one out. We know that.
And a lot that have actually, the scientists, a lot that have actually died, the cause of death has never been disclosed, at least 3 of them. Cause of death unknown. Cause of death not disclosed. Cause of death disclosed. And that's Michael Higgs, and he was also at the Jet Propulsion Lab. Weird. So weird.
That's just got corruption written all over it then, isn't it?
Yeah. I think you're right. I think there's more corruption there than we'll ever know. But for what reason? Who knows? But let's just conclude then. Let's just conclude Alien Abduction, Mr. Paranormal Paul. Your final thoughts?
I definitely can't rule it out. I'm not saying every one of them. I don't want to group them all into the same thing. I think some of them genuinely gone missing. Some of them, like I say, could quite easily have just had an accident and died. But somehow managed to find their way somewhere where they just can't be found. You could fall and hit a ledge halfway down a mountain or a rocky and get wedged between a couple of rocks where no one's going to ever find you. That's a possibility. But I keep going back to that story with that woman with the predator. It's all around wooded areas. I bet there's a part of me that sounds awful, I know, but I'd love it to be true. Just to, I mean, How cool would that be? Not for the people, obviously, but
Yeah.
to realise, wow, that makes sense. Now I can put that one to bed, that one to bed, that one to bed, that one to bed. That's how these people are going missing.
So you're going along. You hope it's the Predator line.
Not hope. That just sounds awful. Did it sound awful? But look, if we're talking abduction wise, then to me that's the coolest way.
So if I was to put you on the spot and say to you the way that's happening, you believe that if you had to put a percentage on these cases,
Phew. What is in predator wise? You mean?
I know of just alien abduction, alien abduction.
I'd go. Oh man. Just because there's similarities in a lot of them doesn't mean that it is all the same thing. I'm going just below 50%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
just me gut. Me gut always got to be me gut. Me gut's telling me it's less than 50.
there you go. I mean, that's it. I'm higher than that. I'm higher than that. Simon, I ask you the same question. Your generalisation of alien abduction.
I think it exists. I think something is taking it. Something is taking it. But whether that comes from above or below is what I would question, as Christian put in there. I don't believe they all are. And I don't think Belidis believes that they all are. It gives a good approach to it. If I had to put something on it, the ones that are abducted in the forests and all that, and highly trained people, highly trained hunters, I'd go as far as saying 60%.
So you've gone 60%. Paul, you've gone just below 50%. What has caused the other percent then?
I think some people, some of them just want to be missing. As they said, you can go missing if you want to go missing. So if you want to disappear, as we said with the skier last week, you can disappear. And I think that's what the other 40% of what we're looking at. But I do believe the 60% of the stories that I've heard are true in what they're saying, and something's taken them away. Now, whether that be alien, whether that be somebody living under the ground, I don't know. But I would definitely say 60%.
Interesting. I'm going a little bit higher. Just I'm basing it on sort of not all facts, but within the chat and things like that. Obviously, we've spoken about scent of being quite important. I don't quite know how you lose scent that quickly. That is something in my head. I don't quite feel that the cave system people, if that exists, can remove someone that quickly, hide it that quickly, and not show an entrance to the cave system that quickly. Not to say that doesn't exist, because the cave system does. But for me, I think there's something more to this. There's not something more, I would say, sinister, because that's not what it is, but it is too quick for me. It's too bang gone. And as you say, if people want to go missing, they can go missing. But still, how they are removing their scent, how are they stopping these dogs from finding them? Now, someone will have a theory about that out there, yeah, and come up and say this will how it happens. It just naturally happens. but we have, you know, we have children go missing over in this country where the
Yeah.
dogs are brought in. They can't scent the, smell, and they are found later down the line murdered and things like that. So there has to be some form of blockage. What that is, who knows? But when it comes to forestry, and when there is only a few scents out there of human animal, rather than in a built-up urban area where a child goes missing and the dogs, where you've got scents after scent after scent after scent, very hard to distinguish. My brain just goes to, I think that there's a higher percentage that when we're talking about the missings of these people that just bizarrely go missing up mountains
Yeah.
or in forests, I'd say quite a high percentage, over 70% to me, to 75%, are done by
Something.
Yeah, something. It is something.
and because I'm a strong believer that extraterrestrials are known within our governments, are known within our society's hierarchies. Whatever you see that leads your country, whatever that, they will fully aware that extraterrestrials exist. So for the likes of the scientists that have gone missing, I'm classing that as an abduction by extraterrestrial, because it is a higher source that needs that information. What it is, who knows? It could be human doing it, taking them because of scientific needs to somewhere. If it's abduction because they don't want them to come out with what information they know something. That's abduction to get them missing and taken away. And that's why my percentage is a little bit higher, because I'm tarning anything is a little bit of high ilk. If they're taking me away to experiment on me, that's no different to taking that person scientist away to shut them up because they know something. The people that are special are the ones that are coming back. Why? Who knows?
Are they special?
Are they special? Are they come back as their normal people? Are they come back as them who left this planet? Are they spies for the planet that they've just come from? Who knows? We will never know. There's different rabbit holes that we can go to, but it is 9:30. We've come towards the end of the show. Thank you for ever so much for everyone who's watched us. I don't know about you guys, but that show has absolutely flown by.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think. I'd looked at the thing, I thought it was only 8:30. I had to double look, and it's like, no, it isn't. It's 9:30.
Time travel.
We have. For everybody that has watched, has probably just lost an hour of their life that they'll never ever get back again.
They're still none the wiser from when we started the show.
No, you're never going to be, are you? You're never going to be.
No, absolutely.
But I do suggest you watch The Missing. It's called The Missing.
Yeah, well worth a watch.
All over YouTube. David Politis, very, very good investigator. Very, very sort of, neutral, I would say. I think he's neutral.
Very much like Gary Heseltine, his former police officer, wasn't he, or fireman? One of them.
Yeah.
So they've got that intuition in them, haven't they, to do digging. They want to know more. Thank you for everybody that has watched the show tonight. Mark and Heidi have been in the chat. We've had Christian, we have had Lee, we've had Jason, we've had everybody in the chat tonight. I think Stuart's been in the chat. So thank you ever so much for everybody that has locked in and tuned in and put comments on there and ask us questions. He was a police officer.
Yeah, he is.
So yeah, without your questions, the show does with your questions, the show does go a lot faster, and your input also helps. So we thank you for that as well. Take care, everybody. Thank you ever so much for everybody who has watched the show tonight. Take care.